one of our main research thrusts is to find ways to mitigate the conflict between livestock farmers, people living on the margins of conservation areas, and the large predators, and also some of the medium-sized predators that can sometimes have very significant impacts, especially on the lower resourced farmers who've got very small holdings. And although the emphasis is very strongly on lions because they're charismatic and they're good earners for the photographic industry, there's hardly a single species of predator that doesn't cause problems for somebody. Like even genets and mongooses cause problems for people who are trying to keep poultry out in the rural areas. Our main thrust though is on the bigger predators because they have the highest economic impact. The main focus within that has been on African wild dogs, mainly because they are the species which is most vulnerable to lethal control outside the protected areas. And our idea has been to try to keep them inside the protected areas by creating artificial territorial boundaries, what we call bio-boundaries. And our approach to that has been to investigate how wild dog packs, which tend not to trespass onto each other's territories, actually organise who lives where and to what extent they're allowed to share space. And they do that with scent marking, with feces and urine. And our idea is to replicate the scents of the feces and urine and put lines of artificial scent marks along the borders of protected areas so that the wild dogs that are inside there actually stay inside. They then don't come out, they don't cause trouble with livestock farmers, they don't get shot, they don't get poisoned, they don't get gassed in their dens, they don't get snared by accident, and they don't get run over on the roads. So that's the classical bio-boundary. Now there's a spin-off of that which was developed fairly recently, in that we've found a chemical component of leopard urine which seems to act as a short-range repellent for leopards. And the idea there would be to use that artificial scent mark around livestock kraals. So where the livestock are kept overnight, you put artificial scent marks there to keep the leopards away. Because leopards are the major problem for small stock farmers. They'll take calves and foals and small donkeys, but goats and sheep are the main things that they're a problem with. So if we can keep leopards away from their prey, then there's a huge area of habitat which is perfectly suitable for leopards. They can live on duikers and steenbok and cause no trouble at all for the livestock farmers. So it cuts down the lethal control of leopards. It will cut down the lethal control of wild dogs by keeping them away from the livestock areas completely. A similar approach would be what we would take with lions if we move into bio-boundaries for lions. And the puzzle species at the moment is black-backed jackals, because they're a really serious problem for goat and sheep farmers. But there's been nearly no work on them in Botswana. There is some work from South Africa. And if we could find a way of stopping jackals preying on the small stock, but still allowing the jackals to be there so they kill rats and mice and other pest mammals, that would be the win-win that we're looking for. Now, obviously tied in with all this, one of the major reasons that we want to stop leopards from killing livestock is that then the livestock farmers have no motivation to kill leopards. And most of the livestock farmers are perfectly willing to live with predators as long as the predators are not killing the livestock. So our approach is to cut down on conflict both directions by initially limiting predator impact on livestock. There will then be no motivation for the livestock farmers to kill the predators, and there will be huge areas of habitat opened up for predators which otherwise wouldn't be available. And that in turn will create connectivity between the protected areas, because one of the problems we've got at the moment is that the core populations of these large predators are becoming progressively more isolated. In South Africa they're completely fenced off, but Botswana has got an open system. There are nearly no fences which are predator-proof. And so, in principle, the animals are able to move, And that refreshes the genetics in each core population. But in practice, there are so many of them that get killed in the intervening journey that the genes never get from one population to another. So if we can boost the populations outside the protected areas, that will help both with the overall ecology and with the gene flow between the cores.